Okay, good evening, all of you. Now, in previous class, we have seen that, how to declare the pointer and what is the importance of the pointers and how to do the programming by using a pointers. And we have seen some of the examples programs by using a pointers. Now, today, we will see that that is a single pointer. We have seen that, and also we have double pointer, and like this you have a even triple pointer also. So now you see this program here. We are having this variable a is declared, and what is the next one? We have defined pointers here. What is the first? And int star p, that means this is a single pointer of the pointer is a what type of data it is pointing. It is a pointing to integer only, so that is the meaning. And similarly here int star q, that means it is a double pointer. So that means it is not only pointing to the variable, it is pointing to the that address of another pointer. Another pointer. We will see that what address it is pointing. And int triple star, that means it is pointing to again 3 times here. So this is a triple pointer. Let us example. In P, so there is a variable a is stored here. A variable is stored, and what it will be p equal to address of a. That means in P, in the pth location here in the P cell, the address of a will be stored. That means P is pointing to a. And next, Q is equal to address of P. Q is equal to what? Address of P. That means the Q, whatever the Q is there, what it is storing, this P is also a pointer. Okay. What is a pointer? Pointer address it will be storing. Whatever it is a P's address, this address will be stored in Q. So now up to here, this is a double pointer. Now again, what is there? Now R equal to again address of the Q. Now Q address, this Q address will be stored in R. Will be stored in R. So this is what the pointer concept is working. Now let us take a very simple here like this. Printf enter number. Suppose you enter any number. Okay. So we are taking the number from the user side. So you take any number, you enter the any number, and we are taking this number. If you print here %d a means, so here scanf, and we are just printing that number. So whatever the user entered number, we are printing, whether it may be 2 or 10, anything. Okay. So this is like A, and similarly you can take you can also scan this P. So like this you can enter any number of things. So it is not an output program, just a sample thing. Okay. But you need to understand this, just what is a triple pointer at this point of time. Okay. Now, like this, the pointer concept is working to, this is the double pointer we have seen, and single pointer. This is what we have seen in a previous class. Now, today, what we are going to do is, there is a one more thing. So one more concept. We have arrays and pointers. That means the pointers can be applied to arrays also. Okay. Pointers can be applied to arrays. First, I will define then we will see that how the problems will be before learning this arrays using pointers. We need to know that some function concept also. Okay. First, I will define this. I will go for the functions. Later, we will come back to arrays using the pointers. Okay. Now we have learned the pointer concept. Now we need to learn some function concept also, so that you will be you are going to deal any programs. Once you are clear the function concept, functions also. Pointers, anyway, arrays basics we have seen that. And now pointers also we have seen that. Now, even if you just understand what is a function concept, then we can do the combination of arrays and pointers, and pointer and functions. Like this, you can do any combinations. Okay. So let us now understand. We are going for the uh, understanding how the function concept is working. So before we go for arrays and pointers, let me complete that function concept also, so that you people will be understand easily. So let us start the session with the function. What is that? Function. Sir, what is the function? Can anyone tell me just what is just function means? So I want answers. Okay, it's not one side. Uh, uh, I need answers, whether it may be right or wrong. So what you are thinking that just function? Whatever you please try to answer. Just message in the chat box. What is the function? Okay, block of code. Okay, 537. Give me some more answers, remaining people. What is meaning of the f function means? Why we need to learn the function concept? A block of code which performs specific function. Okay, I am asking that function. What is that function? Which performs the some specific. Okay, good. Specific function. That is also good answer. Next, 3A5. Now, yeah, good. Some specific task. Okay. So, A5. So, what we need to do? Function means we need to perform some specific task. We need to do the some task. Example, here I am there to teach. What I am doing? I am teaching. And this, you see that in how I am taking this class, I am taking online class. So through Zoom meeting. So the Zoom is also here. That means it is performing some task, the functioning, right? So the Zoom task is what? It has to perform, it has to do the video online meeting, online meeting. So that is the one thing. There is a one, we have a some mouse is there. I am operating this mouse. That is what is the functionality of the mouse? Mouse, it can operate easily. And we have a keyboard. We have a keyboard. So to enter some numbers or anything, then we use a keyboard. And we have a some pen. What is the function of pen? Writing. Yes or no? Similarly, everything you take anything, there should be a some specific task it has to perform. Everything. So let us take a whiteboard. The whiteboard. A board is designed for what? For writing. That is a function of the board. That is the basic function of the board. So Like this, everything. So you take your remote control. We have a different buttons are there. So there is a power off on button, power off button. So power on, why it is a switch on? When you press the power on, it is automatically getting switched on. When you power off, when you click the off button, automatically it will be getting off. That means what is there in that? Because we already written, we have designed that power button to switch off. We have written some logic, the design. Similarly, everything you can take the function means we need to perform some specific task. That's a good. So, okay, sir. Functions, basically, we will do some specific tasks. So now we have a different basic types of the functions also. Okay, we have basic types of functions are. So let us take. So these functions also, you see that functions in C program, what we are going to do. So what is the structure, and we will see that. So we have basic two classifications of the functions. One is we have a library functions, or we can say user standard functions, library functions, or we can say standard functions, or built-in functions, or whatever it may be. And one more functions are called it as a user defined function. That means the user only defining the functions. Suppose if I want to perform some task in a programming, what I will do is I will write my own code to perform some specific tasks, whether it may be I want to perform addition, I want to perform a subtraction, I want to perform a multiplications. I will write a logic and I will give the name as add function or multiply or subtract. So like this, I will give you different function names. Suppose I am performing addition, what I will give the name? I will give the add or anything addition. If I want to perform subtraction, what I will give the name? My own name, subtraction. These are called user defined functions. User defined function. Similarly, library functions. What are the library functions that are there? Some standard functions already is there. What are the some standard functions? So you are writing a printf and scanf. You are writing a printf scanf. Printf scanf is a predefined functions or user defined functions. Can anyone tell me what is a printf and scanf are? What type of functions? The printf is designed for to print the elements. So scanf is to read the elements from the input. So now tell me, what are the some functions? So the printf and scanf is the two standard functions. Now, standard functions, yes or no? Predefined or standard functions. Now, where this will be present? We already discussed in the previous classes. This printf or scanf will be present in this printf or scanf will be present in which library? Which library it will be present? Printf and scanf. It will be present in standard. These are called standard input output functions. Standard input output functions. This will be present in the header files. stdio.h. That means standard input output function. Similarly, suppose I want to perform some mathematical functions. Okay. I want a power of A comma B. So power means the power, any mathematical related things, we have some standard functions. Example, we have see here, printf scanf performs what? These are called input output functions, standard input output function. Suppose I want to perform in my programming, I want to use a power of x comma y. That means what is the power of x comma y? Means x power y. So this, where it will be available? This is also a one function, but this function is a standard function. When you are designing a compiler itself, this function will be available because we already defined when you are designing a compiler. So at the time, we already defined that this printf scanf for the input output functions, standard input output functions. Similarly, some mathematical functions we have included. This will be available in math.h. So like this, we have a many functions. Okay, we have some string operations. It will be there in a string.h, and some console operations we are there. So to clear screen. So this will be many things like this. We have defined many standard functions. Standard functions are, this will be already defined when you are implementing when you are designing the compiler. Those standard functions are called, so these are the predefined functions. Now, next type of functions we need to know. We don't bother about, how this printf and scanf, all those things. These are because already the purpose is defined. The printf is for reading, for writing, and scanf for reading. This is already defined. But I want to perform some other tasks. For that, I need to define. So those are called user-defined functions. You can give any name, no issue. Okay. If you want to perform some, you can start, you can factorial number, you can show, you can display, or whatever it may be. So whatever you want to perform, those are called as a user-defined function. So what user-defined functions means? You can give any name, no restriction on the name. Okay. Whatever based on your interest, you can give whatever the names. Those are called user-defined functions. Okay. There are some advantages of as well as disadvantages. Now we are not going. They're just focusing on how these functions are going to work out, because I'm not going to focus on much on theory. Okay. So there's theory. You also can able to study you on your own, but we will just focus on what is the main function concept, and we will see that some examples and based on functions. Okay. So like this, we have a user-defined functions. You can do, and how to declare, and these are very good. Now, how to declare. So let us see that. The general form of C user-defined functions are, this is a basic declaration. Return type. When you want to user-defined function, these all are called user-defined function. So return type. That means you need to mention the return type. You may or may not. That is again, there is a classification. Okay. But basic syntax is return type. Sir, I don't need any return type. It's okay. Your wish. Next, function name. Function name should be, you have to give what function you want to implement. You want to implement addition, or you want to implement multiplication, or you want to implement any factorial, anything. You can give any name, function name. And what are these arguments? If you want to pass here arguments, suppose I want to perform addition. I need some, I'm expecting some two inputs from the user. So then I can perform the addition. Suppose if you giving 2, 3 as the input, 2, 3 as the input, what I will do? I will perform the addition operation. So this is also optional. Okay. So if you want to take arguments, you can take. Otherwise, for your function, arguments are not required. You no need to take the arguments. This is also optional, and we have a different categories. Okay, but this is a basic classification. Okay, return type and function name, and whatever the arguments you can pass argument declarations. And this is a return. Now the block is getting open. What is this? I have some block of statements, right? In the function, what we will write? Some block of statements to perform some specific tasks. Okay. So here, whatever I want to write, whatever the task I want, I can write. This is called a body of the function. Body of the function. You want to declare some variables and you want to perform some operations, you can perform here. This space is called, it is a block, okay, or body of the function. And after performing some specific task, you can return. What do you want to return? You want to return some output. Okay, whatever the operations you have performed, suppose C equal to A plus B, you have performed. That means that C, if you want to return to someone, you can return, because what is the ultimate goal? That function. So when function is that some specific task is completed, it can be used by some other people. Yes or no? So this is called, it is returning something. After completion of some specific task, it will return to some other person, okay? Some other people, those who need whatever the output of this function, okay? That will be called as a return type. So, and it will return something, okay? Whatever expression, you can return this expression. Whatever the result, you can return the result. This is a basic structure of the function. Basic structure of the function. I'm repeating again. Return type, whether it may be integer, char, or anything double, you can just mention the return type. Function name, where you mention any name, and arguments. Arguments may or may not required. Okay. If you need for a program, you can take, otherwise not required. You can keep empty, but the syntax will be open parenthesis and closed parenthesis, the function means. And for whenever you are defining the function, you cannot give the semicolon here. And there is also one more thing, okay? Because this is the function body. So after that, you can close this parenthesis after returning. So this is the basic syntax of the function. And I hope understood, right? Basic syntax of the function you understand. Yes or no? Okay, next we will go for, so I'm not focusing on theory much. Okay, parallelly while I am explaining, I will, I'm going to say, okay. So return type of function, and you see that parameters here, type, and how to pass the arguments. You see that, okay. So in bracket, I have given that arguments, right? So how this type one and name one. You should mention the name also. Name as well as type, whether it may be int x or int float something. Double, like this you can mention. So this is a type 1, type 2, type 3, and all these things. So this is what we are not, the body of the function is not here. What it is the declaration of the function only. So when you are declaring the function, you can give the semicolon, okay? But when you are developing the body, so at that time you cannot give the semicolon. So you are just declaration of the function. You are declaring variables, right? Similarly, you are declaring array and everything you are declaring. Similarly, function also you have to declare. Function also you have to declare. So this is what declaration of the function. I hope I understand. Declaration of function. And next, when there is a function is there means that function can be utilized by someone, right? Otherwise, there is no use of that function. When there is some function, that means something it is performing, right? It has to use by some other people. Then only it will be useful. Otherwise, it is not useful. What is my function? What is my function? Teaching. I am actually I am good at teaching. If someone will utilize me, then only I will teach her. Because I know all the concepts, but I am not teaching to anybody. So what is the use of me? It has to use by some other people. So that means there is a function calling. What is that? There is a function body is there. Okay. Function calling. That function call means that what is a function call means? You need to call the function. You need to call the function. You need to call the function. Suppose you are performing some other task. You no need to develop entire program every time. Already some function is there. You can use that function. Right? So when someone is using, then only that use of that function. If no one is using that function, then there is no need of that developing the function also. Okay, right? So when there is a function definition as well as a function call. The function call, I will explain. Here, this is a basic function definition. This is what function definition, but someone has to call the function also. When function is there, function should be utilized by some other. So there is a function call and function definition. So let us see that how to do the function call. How can I call? So you cannot simply call, unlike it is also having some syntax in order to call the function. Okay. So function call will be, let us take, there is some function is there, sum of a comma b. That means you have to call the function name followed by any arguments. If you want to pass arguments, suppose I want to add two numbers, you need to say that you need to pass this here arguments also. What are these parameters you have to pass? And that means what you are expecting. You are passing a comma b. You are passing a comma b and function name. This is called function call. Function call. With example, you will understand more clearly. Don't worry. Okay. Now at this point of time, you need to understand what is a function and how to declare the function and how to develop the body of the function and what is the syntax of the function and how to call the function. Function call also there is a some syntax. That is the syntax. Okay. Function definition means right? So we have a something return type, function name, and we have a formal parameters list. So that means whenever you are developing any functions, the parameters we call it as a formal parameters. Formal parameters. Remember this one, okay? Because when we are going for further concepts, this will be useful. These are called formal parameters. Whatever the arguments you are passing, no, those are called formal parameters. So function body contains local declarations and function statements. Variables can declare inside a functional body. Whatever the variables you want, you can define inside the body. And one more thing is function cannot be defined inside another function. Suppose if one function is there, you cannot define one more function inside. So that is not possible. Okay. So let us see that. how to function definition, how to develop the function. Let us take return type, return type. So you need to mention, already we have seen that, right? Return type, what type of function you are taking, what type of return type, whether it's an integer or a float or double or no return type also okay. If you're not returning anything, if return type is not required, it's okay. You can give normal function, void function name. So function name, you can mention any function name. And these are already, what are these parameters? So these are our parameters names. Type, here also parameters also we need to write in some syntax format. Type 1, name 1. That means type 2, name 2, type and so on. You can mention as many parameters you want. And remember, any function body, here you see that semicolon is not required here. But when you are declaring, at that time you can give the semicolon. So now let us take, you define some local declarations and you implement something, whatever the logic here, you can implement. This is a basic function definition, or we can say function body, or we can say function definition. That means you are defining that function. What you are defining, what you want to perform, the task, that task you have to mention here. Example. So in main, let us see in void main. Okay, directly we'll go for example so that you will understand easily. Directly I come up with here example. Now try to understand. Here, first what I'm doing, this is call it as a, this is this line, void fun1, void function 2, void function 3. That means initially I have declared 3 functions. Is there any return type? No, I have not defined any return type here. I have not mentioned any return type. That's why I clearly void. Void means no return type. The return type is not mentioned here. And in this void main, let us start with the anything will be, this is a main function, right? So this is a main function. Every C program, you know that it will start from the main. So printf, initially I have printed something just for definitions only. Here I'm not implementing anything, just for your understanding point of view, what is a, how the function concept is going to work out in this program. I'm just showing. So function, this is what here in this main, the declaration is done. And here function 1, this is call it as a function calling. So there is a function 1 and this function 2 and this function 3. Just I am calling the functions, but I am not developed anything body. I have not defined these functions. Okay, just I am calling these functions in the main. Now function 1, what is that function 1? This function 1 body or logic I need to develop here. So this is a separate function. This a main function is closed. Now just I have called function 1 means function 1 is printf. I am just printing a small statement. I am not doing anything. Okay, I am just printing. So function 1, what it is doing, it is simply printing that function 1. That's it. I am not performing any task. Don't worry. Later programs, next, when you go for the next programs, we will implement the logic also. At this point of time, just understand the flow. That's it. First, we have defined all the functions and function calling. These are called a function calling. Just function calling means what? Because I don't have any parameters. That's why I've just defined. Let us take function 1. This function 1 is, what is the function 1 is doing? Just printing the function 1. That's it. This is open braces and closed braces. That means function 1 is closed. Similarly, function 2. I'm just printing the function 2. That's it. Similarly, function 3, I'm just printing the function 3. I'm not doing any other parts. Okay. So simply I am defining, this is the definitions of the function. What are the definitions? Here, function 1 I have defined. Body of the function 1, body of the function 2, body of the function 3. There are 3 functions I have declared as well as I have defined definition of the body, and I called these functions. Whenever this function main is started, function 1 means it will go to function 1 and it will execute the function 1 first. Next, after closing this function, again this statement will be executed. Function 2. Function 2 means it will come to function 2. What is there in a function 2? It will be executed and it will return to this again function 2. And function 3, whenever there is a function 3 calling, it is called what? Calling, function calling. Now it will call the function 3 and it will go and it will execute. It will execute. Okay. So this is the flow. So first to printf statements, I am calling the other function. And next, when I call the function 1, what is there? Function 1, it will get printed. Again, it will return to function. Again, function 2. Function 2 is there. Again, what is there in the function 2? Function 2, there is a one more printf statement in function 2. This will be executed. Similarly, it will return to again. And next line is what? Function 3. Function 3 means it will come to function 3. And what it will execute? It will execute function 3. And it will be function 3 is done. After it will be returning, what is the function 3? After what is there? Printf again, one more printf statement. What is that? All functions are called. All functions are called. So this is a way of calling the function. Okay. So how I am called here? Function name, open braces and open parenthesis, close parenthesis. That's it. That's a function calling. Simple function calling. Here, I'm not returning anything. No return type and also no arguments. Okay. We will see that classification of functions. We will see that later. Okay. With examples, I will explain you. Don't worry. Just follow me. Okay. Function can also call the other function which is already been called. Okay. What is this? So which is already been called. Example, I will show you. See here. I have defined 3 functions. I have declared 3 functions and now I have started with the main. In the main, you try to observe what is the first printf statements. I am in main. And the next line is what, ma? Function 1 calling. Function 1 calling. Function 1 calling means where it will control comes to function. ఇది జాగ్రత్తగా వినాలి ప్రతి ఒక్కళ్ళు. ఈ ఫంక్షన్ కాన్సెప్ట్ లో how the one statement to another statements, how I am moving, that is very, very important. So whenever there is a function 1 means it will come to the function 1. It will come to the function 1 and it will print the function 1. Then what is there in name? This is also a function calling. At this point of time, I am calling a function 2. That means whenever I call the function 2, I will come to function 2 and I will execute this function 2. And again, after this printing printf statement, again there is a calling of function 3. Function 3 is called. Function 3 is called and I will come to again function 3 and I will execute. And after execution of the function 3, the control will go back to where? After execution of function 3, control will go back to whom I called. So ఎవరైతే కాల్ చేశారు, ఎవరు కాల్ చేశారు? Function 3 called. So the control will be given back to here function 3. Function 3. Here control will go back to here. So whoever called, it will go back to that place again. Again, in the printf statement, it will print I am back in function 2. Okay. Now again function 2 also completed. Now I have executed all the functions. Now where the control will goes? Control who called actually function 2. So here in this function 1, the control will go back to function 2 in this place here, in this line. So later function 1, this printf statements, I am back in a function 1. I am back in a function 1. This will be executed. Again, after completion of this function 1, where it is called actually? Here, this function 1, the control will again go back to main and printf, I am back in main, and that main is closed. This is the working of the functions. You need to concentrate how this function is calling. So whoever called the function, you have to go back and you have to stop at that. You have to return something. If you want to return something, you can return. Otherwise, if it is not returning anything, the control will go back to that previous. That's it. This is the flow of the functions. Because in any programming, not only single functions, right? We have a many functions are there. So many functions will be there. So we need to see that in which function is called function, calling function, and what we are going to implement. Okay, fine. So this is something about how one function is called another function. Okay. So let us go for the some more examples on functions. I hope understand, how if people please try to copy this one also. Okay, so that it will be good. Just try to write down and you try to write down the flow also. I hope understand this one, right? How the function calling and how the control is go back. Understand or not? Give me the response, whether you understand or not. Okay. If you not understand, you please ask one more time. I will explain. Okay. Okay. What is the first initially? The functions. How many functions we have declared? 3 functions are. Okay. Okay. I will repeat it. How many functions we have declared? Function 1, function 2, function 3. There are 3 functions we have declared. And any program, it has to start with what? This is called declaration sections. In the declaration section, we have just declared 3 functions. There is a function 1, function 2, function 3. And main, in the main, what I am doing? First, I am printing one statement. Understand? Printing statement. Now, function 1, this is called calling function. What is that? Calling function. The function call will be function call. So function of this one, I have just a calling function. So that means function, I have not defined, body is not there, function one body, just only calling. I am calling the function one. Whenever you are calling function one, the control will go back, control come back to where? Where the control will goes? Where the control will goes? Whenever you called the function, suppose you called somebody, so the control will goes to that guy, right? So function one control will come to here, the body of the function here. What is the body of the function here? Function one, function one, function one, the control will comes and it will execute the function one. Yes or no? Whenever I call the function one, so it will comes to function one body and it will get executed. While you are executing in a function one, what is the statements, ma? What the statements you need to execute? First statement, printf function one. Printf function one. You are printing the function two. What is the next statement you need to execute? This is a statement, right? So again, what is this? Function two calling. Function two calling. Try to see that. So function two calling. Now, whenever you function two calling, you have to go back to you have to function two. You have to go to the function two. Function two body. What is there in a function two body? Function two body. Again, printf function two. It is getting executed. And after that, again, what is the next line? Function three. Function three. Again, function three calling. Function three calling means it has to come, it has to go to the function three. Function three body. What is the function three body is there? Function three, we have a only printf statement. Printf statement. And function three will be executed. Function three will be executed. And after completion of the function three, సింపుల్ గా చెప్తున్నా, ఎవరైతే కాల్ చేశారో అక్కడికి వెళ్తుంది. ఎవరు కాల్ చేశారండి? ఫంక్షన్ త్రీ ఎక్కడ కాల్ అయింది? ఇక్కడ కదా, ఇది ఫంక్షన్ త్రీ. ద కంట్రోల్ విల్ గో బ్యాక్ టు హియర్ ఫంక్షన్ త్రీ ఆఫ్టర్ కంప్లీషన్ ఆఫ్ హియర్ దిస్ స్టేట్మెంట్. అండ్ after this statement, what it will be executed? Printf I back in a function 2. So that means here function 2 body also got executed. After completion of the function 2 body, the control will go back to where? Control will go back to function 2 here because it is called, right? So after function 2, this will be printf I back in a function 1. This will be executed. After now the function 1 body also completed. Now where it is called? Again the function 1 has to return to here. Function 1. And what is the next statement it will get executed? Printf I back in a main. And the main, whenever the main is closed, the program will be terminated. This is the working of the functions. This is the working of the functions. Okay. So now I hope you understand. Okay. So okay, good. Next, we will go with example. We will see that some more examples how it is working. Okay. So now how, what are the different categories of the functions? Now we will see that this is a very, very important thing. What are the categories of the functions? Functions will be classified into four categories. It is a very simple categories. Functions will be categorized into four categories. Here, function with no arguments. Already we have seen that. Functions because arguments you are not taking and no return value. There is no return value as well as no. So function with no arguments and no return value. And next category of the one is functions with no arguments and no return value. Sorry, with return value. Functions with no arguments and return value. Previous one is functions with no arguments and no return value. Here, functions with no arguments, but we have a with return value. And third category, function with arguments and no return value. We have a arguments, but no return value. Next, functions with arguments and with return value also. So these are the four categories. Please try to write down. These are the four categories of the functions. These are the four categories of functions. I hope, please, I will give you 1 minute. Try to write down. Okay, next. Functions. First category, we will see that. Functions with no arguments and no return value. That means you don't have any return type. So basically, what it should have a return type and function name and arguments, right? But we have a first classification that functions with no arguments and no return value. So let us see that this is a simple program. Void. So there is a one function I am implementing. What is that function? Void. Void means no return type. What is the meaning of void means? This is very important. In Java, in other programs also, it will be the same. Void means there is no return type. And what is the body of what is the name of the function? MSG, message. Okay. MSG is the name of the function. And open braces and here closed braces, closed parenthesis. So that means no arguments. Just you are not giving any arguments. So no arguments as well as no return type. So this is simply void MSS. So in this one, I am printing something, learning C easy. Some message I have just printed. So this is a one classification of the function, okay, with no arguments and no return back. Now int main, we have a int main. So in this message, so what is how I'm calling this message. This is called a calling a function because I have a function void message is there. So I have to call the function, right? You are implementing the function. It is not enough. You have to utilize that function, right? So this is a main. I am just calling. What is a, this is called function calling message. Message. And because the main function is in, because it is also expecting something. It is also a function, right? Main is also a function. Main is also a main function. So it is also will expecting something. So you are not returning anything. You can return 0. Okay. So this is a main closed. So this is a basic no arguments and no return type. Here I don't have any arguments and no return type also void. So this is the first classification of the functions. Okay, sir. With example, I will explain. Let us go for simple addition of the program. Void. I want to implement add. That means simply adding two numbers. What is a what function I want to implement? I want to implement a simple functionality that is add. Void add. Because what is a void means? There is no return type. That's why I have declared void. Add. Add means this is a function name. And see, we have to first to declare that. Yes or no? Void add. We have declared. Now I am implementing here. What I am implementing, this is a function definition. Void add. So this is a add function. Now in this add function, I am writing a logic. I am writing a logic. In order to add numbers, you know logic very well. Int a comma b comma c. 3 variables I have declared. And printf enter a comma b values. I am taking values from the user. So that's why enter a comma b values. And I am reading scanf. Scanf percentage d of where whatever the user enter, those values will be stored in address of A as well as address of this will be stored in A as well as B. So I'm giving addresses. Okay. And up to here, you know that. And I'm just performing C equal to A plus B because user entered two values A comma B. Now I am performing addition C equal to A plus B. And result is stored in where? Result is stored in C. Result will be stored in C because A plus B. Now printf A plus B is C. Printf A plus B is C. But here I am not returning anything only. So here because it is a function is also not expecting anything. Here void add and I am not returning anything. Just here whatever the add function is there and I am not returning here. So that's why here you see here I am not returning anything. In the main, you what I just given add of open parenthesis, closed parenthesis. What is this meaning? This meaning is function call. Function call. Now try to understand here. Function declaration. This is the first one is what? Function declaration. And after entering to the main, now this add is nothing but function calling. What is function first of all here? What type of function it is? Add function. I am performing addition of two numbers. That is a simple add function. C equal to A plus B is the add function. Now, whenever you called add here, so this will be executed, entire task will be executed. Not only in this main, You can call in any other function also. You can call the simply add of open parenthesis, close parenthesis. It will automatically print the result. This is a basic classification. What is the classification? You understand? No arguments and no return type. Okay? This is Raskondi. All of you, just I will give you 2 minutes. Please write up. For no arguments and no return type. Understand or not this one? Here nothing is there. Just function declaration, function call, function definition. That's it. There is nothing as a big here. Understand or not? Give me reply. Okay, thank you. Next month. So next one is so functions with no arguments and return value. We don't have any arguments, but you have to return the value. So that is the second category. So what I am expecting is here you see that. What is the char? That means message. What type? I have mentioned the type here. Return type. What is the return type I have mentioned? Char. That means I am expecting characters. This function is what it is dealing. It is a characters and message. But there is no arguments. You see that. Okay. So I have mentioned the char. That means the return type is a char and message. This message is MSG is the name of the function. Name of the function and arguments. There are no arguments. Okay. What this message? What this function here you see? I want to start here x equal to message. That means message MSG. So you come to here. That means calling the function. Whenever there is it's a calling the function. That means this message, first character, this is a local declaration. Character, I have taken some x. Now x equal to MSG. That means whenever MSG means what? It is calling. It is calling the function. When it will go to this function, because this function I already defined. Char message. So I am taking a char ch, enter the character. User is entered some character and I am reading the character. And now I try to observe here. Return the ch. I am returning what? I am returning to ch. Whatever the character user entered, I am returning to where? I am returning to where? In the main here calling function. Try to see that. This is very, very important. Return ch means this character will be returned to whoever called, who is called calling function, this message, this message, it will return character. Suppose if user entered as a character as, suppose user entered as a, that means X, it will be stored A. In place of X, what character will store? A. If user enter B, B will store. If user enter 1, like this, whatever the user entered, that character will be stored into this X. Now printf, printf percentile C comma X, percentile C comma X means format specifier is character and X. What contain X value? Whatever the user has entered, that will be contained in X. I hope understand. And it will be main. Main is not returning anything. So that's why just return a 0. So this is what with return type, but there are no arguments. No arguments. Understand? So this is a, now based on this, we will see the example. Based on this, you will see the example. One more example. See, same in previous one, the same thing. Okay. What is that function declaration? Int add. Int add. Here I have defined the type also. Data type. So int add. This is called a function declaration. And int. Now I came to main. So main means here int x. I have defined x where x equal to add of function. Again, I am calling the function. Add of this. Add function is there here. It will control comes to here add. Control will comes to add. Whatever there in add. So what is there in add? Add, it will be there that printing the addition of two numbers. Addition of two numbers. So you are taking A, B, C, A comma B values, you are taking input and you are reading the values from the user and you are taking the values and you are computing C equal to A plus B and finally you return C here. You return C. Now try to observe again. It is returning, in previous case, we are not returning anything. We are not returning anything. But here you see that you are returning C. Where it will be written? The output C. Suppose you enter the values 5 comma 10. Result will be 15 will be stored in where? C. And this 15 will be returning where? Can anyone tell me? The 15 result will be returned to where? This 15, the whatever the result, the 15 will be returned to where? The very good. So the 15 will be returned to here calling function here add. So here it will be stored. This 15 will be stored into X. This is what. Now if I printf addition, what is the percentile D comma X? What it will print output? It will be printing 5 comma 10. That's output is 15. The 15 will be output will be here print. This is what. So with return type and no arguments. No arguments. So I hope you understand this two classifications. We have two more classifications. What is the next classification? Next classification is what? Returning Functions with arguments, but no return value. No return value. This is a third category. This is a third category. Functions with arguments and no return value. Okay. So in this one, you try to observe one function I am developing. The function is void message. Void means no return type. But in message, name of the message. And in this, you see that when you are declaring, you see that what type you are expecting, float. The parameters in the arguments, what type of argument you are expecting? The argument you are expecting is float type only. So whatever you declare, those you have to give the name here. Void message, void is no return type. A message is what is function name, and float something, some percentage, what it may be. I'm giving shortcut here, percentage. Okay. Printf, percentage of the student is some percentage. That's it. Just I am taking input here. So float, but these are called arguments. Okay, arguments. A small function I have implemented. Okay, and here is say you see here. So main, float, average, printf, enter the average student, scanf, percentile f, and average. Something it will be entered from the input, and message average. So this average will be going into what? Message average will go into float here. Float here like percentile. It will come to here. Whatever the user entered, that will be average, this parameter. So these are parameter average. This parameter will be passing here. Here it will come to this function. Try to remember. And so here, anyway, it is not returning anything. So message, and it will be return 0. Just only here. With this example, we will understand more clearly. The same example in the we have defined here. Now you try to understand. Void add, I have this is called as the declaration of the function. Declaration of the function. In this declaration of the function, what is there, ma? Void, because no return type. I am not going to return anything. add int comma int. Int comma int means what? You have to give only integer values only. That I am specifying. Int comma int means what? You have to give only integer values only. This is a function declaration. Function declaration. And function body. What is the function body you have developed? Void add. I am expecting, because only integers, right? You have to give only integers. Int x, comma, int y. That means whatever the values you will give, this will be stored into the x as well as y. So now in this body I have developed int z, where z equal to x plus y. Printf addition is percentile d comma z. The result will be stored. Now this is a function is developed, right? This function can be used by someone. So who is going to use this? In the main function? In the main function is going to call. See here. In the main function, int a comma b. That means two variables I have declared and I am taking the two values from the user input. Enter a comma b values. The user is entered some two values. Suppose again 5 comma 10. Now this 5 comma 10 user is entered. Now what is that? That will be stored in A as well as B. Now add A comma B means what here? A comma B means add of A comma B means what are the values? We already taken from the user. What are the values? 5 comma 10. 5 comma 10 values we already taken. This 5 comma 10 value. That means add of 5 comma 10. This is what function call. This is called what? Function call. So this function call, it is calling here. This function it is calling. Now in place of int x, int y, what values will be stored? Tell me please. Type answer. In place of int x, int y, what values are going to stored? 5 comma 10. 5 comma 10, because here in place of a comma b we have already taken from the user 5 comma 10 and this function calling. So add a comma b, you see here, add, here you are taking int x. Int x means 5, int y means 10. So the two values it is going to take, and the two values it will be, now z I don't know. Now z equal to here 5 plus 10, 15. This 15 will be stored, but it is not returning anything because I am not expecting to return also. Okay, because I don't need anything here. So return is not expected. So here what it will be? I am not returning anything. So this, once it is performing addition, again control go back to here, and I am not returning anything, 0, and I am closing. So this is what? No return type, but we have a arguments. We have a arguments. Please try to write down the notes. All of you write down. Write down the notes. I will give you 1 minute, 1 or 2 minutes. Please try to write down. Okay. Next. Next last type is what? Next, what is the last type? Functions with arguments and also with return value. Functions with arguments and with the return value. So this is the fourth category. Fourth category. Okay, directly I will explain this. Okay. What is you see here? First int. Here return type also is there. What is return type? integer. And what is the function name? Add. And what are the arguments? Int x comma int y. Int x comma int y. This is called function declaration. This is called what? Function declaration. Now, in this function declaration, this is a function declaration. Now, function definition or function body, you see here. Int add int x comma int y. Now I want to perform some logic. What is that? Int z, where z equal to x plus y. That means I am just performing simple addition. And also I am returning. You see here. What I am returning? I am returning z. Whatever the I have computed in this function, I am returning to return. So what I'm returning? This z value. What is the z value? Z value will be x plus y. So this will be returning to where this will be returned to whoever called. So I will return. Whoever called, I will return. So in the main function, who is calling? So int a comma b comma x printf enter a comma b values. I am taking the two values from the user. Let us example say 5 comma 10 and x equal to same add of a comma b. Add of a comma b. So what is a comma b? So here I have taken values 5 comma 10. This 5 comma 10 will be passed here. 5 comma 10. So integer x. See here. I am expecting only integer values. 5 comma 10 are integer values or not? Integer values only. So int x, int y. In place of int x 5, int y we have taken 10. And z is 5 plus 10, 15. The 15 result will be stored in z and the result will be control will be here return to whoever called, who is called add of a comma b. So the result will be 15. 15 will be stored in x. 15 will be stored in x. So printf addition. Printf now addition. What is the x value? X value is 15. The 15 is getting printed. 15 is getting printed. So this is what we have seen, that no arguments and no return type, and arguments with arguments and no return type, and with return type without arguments, and with arguments and with the return type. These are the four basic classifications of the functions. I hope you understand what is the function definition and what is the function calling and how to call the function and what are the different types of the functions. What are the different types of the functions? I hope you clear. You try to write down the notes. Try to copy this one. Please write down. next very, very important concept is that. So, please concentrate for the next half an hour. Now we are going to combine the functions and pointers. Okay. For preparation of your semester, is actually what you need to concentrate is, suppose every concept, for every concept, you try to first learn all the syntaxes, then you have to do at least one small program, one small example program. So that suppose if they will ask you that simply explain the uh, uh, what are the different classifications of the functions. Everybody can write with return type or without return type, but you try to explain something like this example program, so that when the paper is when the paper evaluator is correcting, so there is a chance of getting a good marks. Instead of writing a theory, if you write one small example, that will give a more impression for the your exam point of view. Okay, someone is asking, sir, how to uh, you know write in the end semester. So just don't write always only theory, because it's a programming subject, right? So these small programs are enough. You don't need to, write in a very complex programs also. Try to write down this programming. Learn the concept and a small example on that. That's why in every class I'm just concentrating. I'm not concentrating on only theory, because if I'm just concentrating on theory, there is no useful, because it's a programming subject. How to trace the programs, and how to you cannot by heart the programs also. You cannot by heart the programs also for the exam point of view. If you understand the flow, you will not by heart. When you by heart, there is a chance of forgetting. So don't by head. Try to, understand the concept. Try to understand the concept. Then you will automatically remember. If you just by head that, then automatically when you will go for the exam, automatically entire thing will be you are going to forget. So theory as well as one small program, at least if you write in exam, first anything, some declare syntaxes, declarations, something about the theory. Then you can write one small example program. Then you will automatically get a good marks for theory exams always. I'm telling theory exams. For competitive examinations, anyway, you don't have a stress. You have to work out on tracing one. That is the one thing. And next, this is very important. So you in your syllabus also is there only function concept. Okay, functions, pointers, arrays, and now we'll see that one example and how to functions will be combined using the pointers. One small example I am going to explain. So these are already I have seen all the different types, and uh, so we have a nested function within the other function is the nested functions actually. Okay, we already seen that those type also. Now parameter passing techniques. No, this is very, very, very important for your competitive examinations. Whenever people, if you go for any competitive examinations, people will test here. Parameter passing techniques. So Here we are going to, uh, see that we will combine the both functions as well as pointers in this example. Let us see that. So there are two parameter passing techniques are there. Two parameter passing techniques. One is call by value, call by reference. What is that? So calling functions here. So basically we are doing what? Calling the functions. Now in the calling functions means we have a one type call by value, call by reference. We will see that with the example. I will explain it. Don't worry. I don't want to explain theory. Let us try to go for the call by value. So what is this? Call by value. See here, call by value. You try to observe the program carefully. Here, this program is for just swapping the two numbers. Very small program that is just swapping the two numbers. This swapping the two numbers, I am going to explain. So, using the call by value. Call by value. First, what is the one function? Declaration. What is the function declaration? Void, because I am not returning anything. Void and swapping. What I want to perform? Swapping. That means swap, this green part. Swap, swap. I am, because in order to swap, what you have to take? There are two variables. Okay. You are taking two integer variables. Int x, int comma y. This is a basic declaration of the, my function. What is the function name? Swap function. Swap function. Okay. Anyway, you will take this values from the user, right? User will enter two values. Okay. Int a comma b. So in the here in the memory location. So please concentrate just next 20 minutes. Concentrate. So what is this? Int a comma b. That means a is value and b will be stored in some memory location. A and B are stored, and I have entered the a comma b values. Suppose user entered 5 comma 7. Two values are entered. What are the two values? A as well as b. In A, 5 will be stored. In B, 7 will be stored. Swapping. What is swapping? Swapping the two numbers means interchanging. Swapping means just interchanging. So in place of A, B will come. In place of B, A will come. That's a swapping means interchanging. That's it. Swapping of numbers means. So enter A comma B values. So in this A, I have 5, and in B, it will be stored 7. So printf. Now before I am just printing, because whatever the user entered, those values I am printing. Printf before swapping A comma B values are, what are the before swapping? What are the A comma B values? 5 comma 7. 5 comma 7 will be printed here. Before swapping, I am not performing swapping operation. Okay. Now, next, I will call swap of A comma B. Swap of A comma B means what here? So, there will be 5 comma 7. 5 comma 7. 5 comma 7 swap of A comma B means I will go to the swapping function. The control will come to swapping function. In the swapping function, in place of x, the 5 will come. In place of y, Here you see, in place of X, 5 will be stored. In place of Y, 7 will be stored. In place of X, 5 will be stored. In place of Y, 7 will be stored. Now I am performing the swapping operation, right? Swapping means interchanging, that's it. So if I want to just, there are two places are there, right? Two students are sitting on the bench. I just want to swapping means interchange. In place of X person, I will come to Y. In place of Y place, the X will come. That's just interchange. That's nothing is there. Just a swapping number means just interchange. Okay. Now X is 5, Y equal to 7. X equal to 5, Y equal to 7. So, okay, now logic is I am going to develop the logic. Okay. Okay. Carefully listen here. What I am developing the logic here? I am developing some logic. What is that? X equal into temporary. Temp means what? In order to store temporary variable, some temporary variable I am taking. Into temp. In place of temporary variable, the X will be stored. X will be stored. What is the X value? X value is what, ma? 5. So in the temp, 5 will be stored. And now X equal to Y. See, in place of X, I am entering Y value. In place of X, I am entering Y value. What is the Y value? Y value is 7. That 7 I am placing into a X. So in place of X, 7 will be stored. And in place of Y, what is there? Because X is stored in temporary variable, right? So that's why Y equal to temp. What is present in the temp? Temporary is present in the temp is already stored in what? Temp is stored 5. So in place of Y, the 5 will be getting. This is a simple swapping operation. Nothing is there. Simple swapping operation. So I have just swapped. So what is this? X value becomes 7 and Y value becomes 5. Y value becomes 5. I have swapped. Now this will be written to where? This is going to the control come back to this calling function. Now printf after swapping a comma b values. After swapping a comma b values. What is this? After swapping a comma b values. So what is after swapping a comma b values? A comma B I am printing here. A comma B. Now tell me what is the output of A comma B? What contain A in place of A? What is there? A 5 only, B 7 only. Yes or no? So that means you have swapped the values, but this will be applicable into only this function only. Applicable only this function. But this A comma B values are not affected. A comma B values are not affected. Still, suppose when you are returning to here, still A comma B values are 5 and 7 only. It is not affected. It is not got affected. Exchanged, where it is exchanged the values? Values will be exchanged in here only, in place of X and Y only. But it is not reflected in A. Yes or no? The swap and the swap here in place of X, Y in place of Y, X only. So once this block is closed, so after this one, I am going to explain the scope of scope and life of variables. Here, this block This X and Y will be, I can access only here only. So now when it will go to here, after swapping A comma B values, it will be remain 5 comma 7 only. This is the disadvantage of the call by value. Even though I have developed the logic of swapping, but it is reflected only in this particular block only. Out of this block, so this is out of block, okay? Out of block, here the values are remains because A value remains same thing. B value remains 7 only. So this is a call by value. Call by value. So now what I have to do in order to just affect here also. I want to affect A, B. So what should I do? What should I do? I have to use call by reference. Call by reference. So you see that how the call by reference is going to work out. You see here. In swap, swap int star x, int star y. Sir, what is this int star x, int star y means what? What are those? These are variables or what? These are called pointers. Very good. These are called pointers. So here star x and star y, these are the pointers. Now, okay, I'm just casually entering the values A comma B, enter the values. I am reading the values, and before swapping A comma B, I am printing that. What is the before swapping? 5 comma 7 only, because I entered 5 comma 7 only initially. So that print before printing 5 comma 7. Now, next what I am doing? Swap. I am not passing the values here. I am passing address of A. Previously, what we have passed? Previously, we have passed the values. A value we have passed as well as B value we have passed. But now, what is ampersand of A, ampersand of B means? Address of A I am passing. Address of A I am passing. Now, address of A. Now, control will come to here swapping function. Swapping function. Now, we have the pointers. There is a pointer X and there is a pointer Y. And in this pointer, what it will be storing? In the pointer X, address of A will be stored. In the Y pointer, address of B will be stored. It is not the values. Now directly it is passing. Addresses means address of A. That means this X pointer will be pointing to whom? A. Y pointer is pointing to this B. This is what we are passing addresses. Now you try to interchange here the logic. Now swap int temp. What is the temp? Temp equal to star x. Star x means what? Value of A, because it is pointing to A here. It is pointing to A. Now what is the value of x? 5. Initially 5. It is not 7, okay? Initially 5. Now 5 will be stored in temp and star x equal to star y. So star y means what? Y is pointing to initially 7. Now this 5 will be stored into 7 here. Now it is affected, you see here. In place of A, it is what is pointer. Star x means x is pointing to this A. Now it is got reflected. 5 will be reflected. So, sorry, 7 will be reflected. 7 will be storing into this star x. and star y means the pointer y is pointing to B. So what is there in the temp? Temp is there 5. So this 5 will be stored. Now the values A value, B value now reflected. A value, B values are reflected. This is now you see here. When you go back here after swapping A comma B values, now what is the A value? A value is a 7, B value is 5. A value is 7 and B value is 5. Now it is got reflected. Now it is got reflected here also. So this is a advantage of the passing the this is a call by value. Now call by reference. We are passing the addresses, not the values. So now after swapping A comma B values, the output will becomes 7 comma 5. 7 comma 5. So this is what call by value and call by reference. Now the pointer concept also we have applied in functions. Now say this is also very important call by value. So right. So like this is a theory just. So next finally, so just what is that scope of the functions. Okay, we have these are the different functions. Okay, math functions. So these all you can able to study also. It's not a big issue. So scope of the variables. Let us see. Local scope. I have already explained. There is a declaration is a local declaration and global declaration. In the starting classes itself, I explained simply what is a local declaration and what is a global declaration. Before main, if you declare, that is a global declaration. Global declaration of any variables or functions or anything. Okay. In particular block, after main, in any block it is defined, that is called it as a local to that block only. Local to that particular block only. Example, you see here in this example. Okay. Okay, generally I'm writing, okay, without in particular block, you see here, the block is started here and the block is ended here. This is a what local block, okay. We are talking about local block. I will see that global later, okay. So now in this block, I have declared int a equal to 2. This is very, very important. Most of the people will confuse here. So local declaration, what is the scope of the variable? Suppose int a equal to 2. A equal to 2, I have declared. That means where I can access this 2 until which block I can access. That is the confusion. Okay. So I have declared int a equal to 2. And I started this block, okay, int a equal to 2. Now printf percentage d of a. Now what value it will be getting printed? Because I have immediately a equal to 2, now it will be printed local block. If it is already local declaration is there, it will always takes the local declaration only. Local declaration variable only. What is a local declaration variable, ma? Int a equal to 2. That means 2 is getting printed here. That's okay. Next. Next one is now block is started here. Block is started. Now int a equal to 5. Again, what is it? Int a equal to 5. I have defined a equal to 5. So this is actually inner block. This is called inner block. Previously in outer block also where there is a equal to 2 is there. Now with the inner block again a equal to 5 is there. Where after declaring a equal to 5, suppose printf percentile d, printf percentile d. Now what it is getting printed, because I have a local declaration here. Immediately in this block, I have a declared a equal to 5. So immediately that a will be 5 will be printed. The inner block a will be, what is this? Inner block a will be getting printed. And now this I am closing the inner block. Whenever you close this inner block, this is automatically will be get deleted. What is will be deleted? A equal to 5 will be whatever this block. This is automatically deleted because the block is closed. The block is closed. Whenever this flower brackets is open and closed, that means this block is this entire information will be getting closed. Now again printf. Now I want to print a percentile d of a. Now what it is getting printed? Because this inner block is automatically it will be gone, because when you close this information automatically will be deleted. So it will search for the here this block. What is the a? A equal to 2, because this block is not closed till now. This block is open, but it is not closed. Okay. So now a is available in this block. A 2 is getting printed. The value 2 is also getting printed. And after getting printed a, now again there is a here closing this block also. Now this a equal to 2 also will be getting deleted when the block is closed. Suppose if you write outside this block something, now a, we don't have anything a, right? So this is what block example for the scope of the that variable. That means simple scope of the variable means at what time in which particular block I can access the a value. That's it. This is a simple block. Similarly, global. Global scope means if you declare the before main, you can access anywhere. That means anywhere in the program. Condition is if the local variable is not declared. First, it will give the priority to the local variable. If the local declaration is not there, then it will search for the global variable. Global variable. If the both the variables, local declaration is there, global declaration is there. But priority is what? Priority is always for the local declaration. First, it will take the any local block if the local variable is there. In this, see, in the previous example, in the local block, we have a equal to 5, first priority. So, there, otherwise, it will take global variable, not local variable. Okay. So, this is what something about. See here also. So we have a into g equal to 10, say. So this is what? Before main declaration. Before main, you have declared this declaration is called global declaration. Global declaration. So what is the G? That means this G can be accessed in anywhere in the program. But if G is already available in the local block, first priority is local only. Try to remember this point. So example, so in this function 1, let us see that in this function 1, G equal to 30. Already G equal to 10 is a global declaration. G equal to 10 is a global variable, global declaration. But in the function 1, I have a local declaration again, G equal to 30. G equal to 30. Printf percentage D of G. So here what it is getting printed? The value, what it is getting printed here? Highest priority we need to give for the what? Local declaration. What it is getting printed? 30 will be getting printed here because the local declaration is here 30. If the local declaration is not there, then only I can access the global variable G equal to 10. If the local variable G equal to 30 is there, so I have to print only G. That 30 value I am going to print it. That is what we need to see here. Suppose in the function 2, you see here. In the function 2, I don't have any local declaration. In the function 2, I don't have any local declaration. So which G I need to access? I have to access this 10 value after incrementation. Okay. That this global declaration value I need to access because I don't have here global declaration. I don't have here local variable. So then if local variable is not there, then I have to go for the global declaration. So this is what, concept of what we can say, global and local scope and lifetime of variables. So this is what here, if you have any questions, you can ask. So this is what function concept, okay? Function and what are the, how to declare the functions and how to call the functions and how to define the functions and what are the different types of the functions and what is the parameter passing techniques, call by value, call by reference and scope of the variable, scope and lifetime of the variables. So these are what we have covered in this class. And if you have any doubts in this one, you can just chat box, you can text, me. Okay, right. Thank you for your responses. Okay. Sir, can we close the session?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir. Great. Thank you, all of you. Thank you.